Hey guys, and welcome to a very special edition update on Friday for the very first time. Today is October 5th, and mark that day in your calendars because the reason I'm doing this so early, and this will be in replacement of our weekend stock talk just for today, is because we are seeing some massive movement in the markets that is signaling red warning signs all over. And I will tell you about these warning signs. Let's talk about it. The S&P 500, as we always start off with the SPY, right? We're on the yearly chart. So yesterday we left off touching, but not completely touching, the 50-period moving average, as we were on a pretty steady uptrend, right? Until we saw a downturn, and that major downturn started yesterday. So we didn't touch it, but you guys can see today we had a continuation move to touching the 50-period moving average on the yearly chart and then smashing under it to the next support. Now, in the Discord chat, and I talked to people on the course, I mentioned in big, bolded, and really highlighted letters that we were looking for a support at 286. Now, the question is, did we get around 286? So looking at this chart, it looks like we did. So let's take you guys to the intraday chart. 286.22. We came within pennies of the major support. Now, I'm going to give you guys all my spiel about why this is such an important support level. We have reaction highs in the past around 286, right? This was really the breakout trajectory for the S&P 500. Now, the thing about this is we've back tested it once, right? We have actually no business retesting this support. And that's just my opinion. We have no business retesting the support, but we did today. We bounced off of it, but look at the candle that was made. If we were to get a more bullish reversal from the, supposedly support line, right, at 260, it held up today, but what happened? We came up, but the bulls weren't able to push over our what level. At the very least, it wasn't able to push and get the majority of the selling back today. We did try and we attempted it, but we really failed, right? We attempted the move higher. We really needed to close, in my opinion, around 289 or higher for really a possible trend change back to the upside. All right, so we didn't do that. So what kind of candle did we form? Well, it's a candle that looks very similar to yesterday's candle. What happened yesterday? Well, yesterday happened and today was a continuation move down. Okay? All right. So what am I looking for in the near future? Once again, similar to yesterday's analysis, we don't have a definitive sign of a reversal back to the upside. We made a similar candle, and hence, what do you think is going to happen on Monday? What is the probable trajectory? It doesn't have to happen on Monday, but the probable trajectory in the next few days is obviously to the downside. So, these warning signals that's happening, and what we're seeing is so far we've corrected, if you guys just take a look at this, a little over 1.5%. But if I take from the top all the way to the bottom, it's already over a 2% correction because we hit the bottom, right? Even though we closed a little higher, we're getting to that mark. Now, another question is, when does the bulk of the earnings season start, where we could see perhaps some catalyst lifting the markets back up? That's near the end of the month. So where are we right now? October 5th. We're not in October 25th. We are in the start of the month, and there's time. There's time for the markets to drop. And because we have that time component playing out, here's what I'm looking for. This support line is strong intraday today, okay? And hence, I talked to everyone about it in the course about that. On Monday, it doesn't have to be strong anymore. As a matter of fact, if we crack that area, our next support line is this red line right here at 283.80. Am I going to go into a long position at 283.80? No. Absolutely not, because what do we need to do? We, at the very least, need to see consolidation patterns at the support line first before we enter into a long position. But in my opinion, there is certainly more room for the markets to drop. Now, what's the bullish case scenario? Well, it's really, given the candle and the movement we had today, it's very hard for me to establish a bullish case. In order for us to establish a bullish case, I will need Monday to play out first. Okay? I need Monday to play out first. I need that, which I don't see happening, in my opinion, but I need a tail candle and some sort of reversal candle back at the support. Perhaps we're going to spike through it and then reverse back up. That's a possibility. That's something I'll be watching for, but there will, in my opinion, be another, what can I say, leg down, right, in the markets. And really depends on, you guys can see how fast the selling occurs, right? Because, let me tell you guys this. In 3 days, we've knocked out how long of a period? We've knocked out since August 24th, right? We've knocked out over a month's worth of gains in 3 days. That's how fast the markets could fall. So therefore, caution is in order, right? We put warning signals over here, right? The past 2 days, past 3 days, now they're playing out, and hence, there you go. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you all these charts, guys. I'm going to take it everything. Guys, members, I will do a review on our monthly tickers to watch for you guys, and it'll be posted in the course curriculum as always. So that's something for you guys. I will do that over the weekend, so be on the lookout for that one. Looking at TVIX for volatility, right? I will take you guys, first of all, to the 5-day, 5-minute chart. Putting emphasis on perhaps the last 3 days. Okay? What do you guys see right now? Well, spike, sell-off. Spike, sell-off. Spike, sell-off. What do you think is going to happen on Monday? Okay? At the very least, we're going to have that spike. Right? We should expect a spike. And that spike, whatever the magnitude is, Monday or Tuesday, whenever it occurs, but chances are it might be Monday, right? That's when we want to, there's that volatility position that we were talking about. Now let's take a look at the yearly chart. What were we looking at in the past? First of all, look at the volume. Look at the volume here. Can you guys see that? Volume. Look at the really high volume coming in for volatility. That's one thing to notice. And the second thing you guys should see is we're above the 20-period moving average, right? Volatility is moving higher, really with a vengeance. If I take you guys to the VIX, which actually looks at the VIX index, right? We were in rather complacent levels, right? Whenever we're at 12 or lower, we're really in complacent levels, and that's the time where you should possibly take a look at, what is actually going on. Can we sustain that complacency? But right now, here we go. Uptrend, right? So for volatility, I expect more spikes in the near future. And note my change in tone, right? Today's tone is very different from a week's tone before, because we saw these developments occurring, and hence we have to follow those currents. All right. So I'm going to take you guys we talked about SPY, we talked about volatility, and let's talk about 4/CL or crude oil futures. Now, crude oil, you guys can see we had a resistance, and looking at the resistance, we hit it once, we got rejected off of the 76.44 level. Guys, once again, I don't change these lines, and the lines are here for you guys to look at. And if you guys want to draw accurate technical lines, knowing about the trends, or thinking about the trends before they occur, so you know where to position yourself into a trade, that's where the course can come in. You guys can check out the course in the description box down below. I encourage you guys to do so. And let's talk about crude oil. Here we go. Crude oil went back to the support at 74.22. This is the line, once again, that I haven't moved in terms of support. Question is, you might be asking, is crude oil ready to move on lower? Well, just from this 1 week, yes, it's pushing lower, but it could reverse next week back to the upside. It certainly can, right? It can come lower. It doesn't have to be that quick of a spike hit the target, come back down, because this is once again a 20-year resistance, and I would generally want, in my opinion, a week to play out before any shorting of crude oil or whatnot, just to really confirm that crude oil can't move higher. Because if you guys just think about this, right? You're thinking about, oh man, crude oil, we hit it, and now it's going to come down. I'm going to start shorting crude oil. And at some point, it moves back up and perhaps even test this resistance again. Are you going to release your short? That's going to be a hard question. What happens? What if it goes over 77? Because the range of resistance, and as you guys know, is between 76.4 to around 78, possibly even a little higher. So hence, got to give some leeway with crude oil. Just don't have that definitive sign. Let's take a look at the 3-year weekly chart. Yeah, so 3-year weekly is showing a short-term reversal back to the downside, but that's interesting. We pierce through it. So from this chart, it looks likely that we'll come down, but to what area before we find some support? That's where I really want to see that. Short-term short, probably okay in my opinion, but that's only my opinion. But long term, I still want it just to play out a little bit. So there you go, /CL. All right, /NG, natural gas. So let's take a look at natural gas. And for natural gas, people were talking to me about going into UGAZ. So I don't know if you had the position already or not, or you went into it, but you're saying about UGAZ when we held this green candle, right? And I said that the next resistance could be around 3.415. But the question is, you guys can see yesterday we were trying to confirm this new support 3.167, and we couldn't hold over it today. And therefore that's why I like to give it a few days to play out before potentially going into a natural gas position, in my opinion, of course. That's because we want some consolidation pattern. Right now, is this consolidation? It's hard to tell once again, right? You guys can see that, while Monday we could spike up certainly, but it could certainly come down as the near-term momentum's going down. Who knows which ways it's going to go? And therefore, in my opinion, I don't want to go into I don't want to force this trade. If I went into a natural gas play, it's almost like forcing myself into a trade and then really hoping that the trend will go higher. There's just not enough confirmation signals on natural gas for it to take a short or a long position, in my opinion. /GC gold futures. Gold futures, nothing doing here, right? Still consolidation pattern, as you guys can see, at the resistance. No definitive push over 12.11, 12.12. Hence, no interest from me. Yeah? You guys hear my spiel? Okay, so we're going to be taking a look at a couple of the tickers that I missed in the past. So first off, I want to thank everyone. Thank you. I can't read your name. I think that's Russian, but I can't read that. But thank you for your comment. JC, no problem. I'm happy to help with the macro, micro level of insight to the market. Jay, look what you said. Good trading day with help from the course and Discord chat. Made 10% on TVIX trade today. Thank you, Kevin, for the confidence to make this trade. Absolutely, and I'm here to help. So, there you go. There's volatility for you guys. So great job, Jay. I know I've been talking with you in the course. Jeremy, a very good technical analysis. Thank you. Brooke, Draxon, Luis, thank you guys. All right, let's take a look at your tickers. We have Drax and Visa. So, okay, so you guys know with the tickers, I'm going to be having a more bearish stance. Because why? The general market's pushing lower, and therefore I expect all these stocks, or the majority of the stocks, unless you're playing really bearish ETFs, the majority of the stocks to really decline. And here's Visa. We're at the 50-period moving average, but the question is, are we holding over the 50 yet? Yes, we are, but if there's more of a downturn, could Visa break the 50-period moving average? We could, right? We could, but I just for these patterns to play out, I don't want to be really early into the game. You guys can see Visa end of the month, right? Near the end of the month. So where do you think, you could potentially enter into Visa? Well, that has to be when we finally, at the very least, start consolidating at some area in terms of general market movement. Hence, whenever that occurs, that is when I would look into Visa. If Visa, let's give you guys a scenario. Here is, let me show you guys. Here's the February correction, right? Here's the February correction. And you can see these massive spikes downwards, right? Spike, spike, spike. If you can imagine, if we have something like that, we're going to have some turbulence here, right? Depending on how large the correction actually will be. So far, we have around 1.5%, really not too much, big picture speaking. But once we get to the 2, 3, 4, and potentially 5% correction level at that point, then we will expect some massive spikes, right? And that's where you want to see a period of possible consolidation. Until then, we'll spare Visa. And Draxon, you get to, hopefully not take your NyQuil for sleep, because I'm doing this on a Friday. So glad to see you here. Okay, so let's see. I think I missed a couple of other tickers, so let me see if I can find them. Jason, did I do XOP yesterday? Let's see. So XOP is oil, gas. So yeah, so you guys can see this is a triple top now. And, if you wanted to short at a resistance, all the power to you. That's probably, not a bad sign. But you have to put a stop loss on this one, right? Because that's how it is. All right, good job. But overall, the resistance, is around 44.50, and make sure you do correlate that with crude oil. Okay, so that's XOP, Jason. Who else? CROX, right? Rocky, always learning. Love your videos and learning so much. That's great. So CROX, nothing doing here, right? While I love this trend long term, again, this correction is really pounding all the stocks. And really, if you guys can imagine it, the higher the stock has run, the more of a pounding it will get under these correction conditions. So let's wait for it. Consolidation. Can we reverse off of this level? We could, but why be the first one in the party? Because you don't even know where this is going to end. So, let's not jump the gun for now, in my opinion. Right, in my opinion. Okay, and K9. THO. So this is Thor Industries. Right, so here's Thor. This is even worse than the spy graph, right? Like, while where's February? See, this is, nothing here. Are you shorting this? So K9, if you're shorting this, congratulations. There's really nothing much to say. And if you're shorting this, because if you've been shorting this, you've obviously been making money. So congratulations. But there's no sign of a reversal back to the upside. All right, I'll tackle one more. Let's take a look at, do I have any more? I think there was one. Oh, Addy Boy. There you go, guys. Addy Boy. Keys. So this is one that you wanted me to take a look. So Keys, what can you guys see from this? Well, the catalyst is all these earnings, right? Obviously. And before earnings, what do? We oscillate, earnings. Oscillate, earnings. What do you think is going to happen here? Right? Oscillate. So one thing that's interesting, you guys can imagine, is, this one's not reacting to a correction that much. So that's a good sign, I guess. And, as this is moving forward, I do like this trend. The only thing about this is it's happened quite a bit. So, it's happened twice already. Question mark is, are you going to take that chance once earning comes out in December? Now that you have to dig behind the fundamentals of the company, probably. Okay, guys. All right. So that's it for today's tickers. But the big picture, has to be the S&P 500 and general markets. I'm going to, because in the next week, it's going to be very interesting very quickly. Every single day, in my opinion, is going to play out a specific story, whether it's a continuation story or a really very high volatility choppiness in terms of when we have these major corrections, which we're seeing, we have choppiness every single time. Choppiness. We're not just going to do a one-day wonder, come down, next day, boom, it's going to fly on up. There's choppiness involved, right? There's choppiness involved, especially when we've had such a long leg higher. So until I can see that choppiness, shorts, you're good. Longs, what can I say right now, right? So just be careful, and in the meantime, keep an eye on the futures. I will be actively discussing it with you guys on the Discord chat as well. Happy trading, everyone. Have a great and restful weekend. Breathe, and then we will regroup on Monday. All right. Happy trading. See you guys later.